entertainment time. Ooh, that doesn't work. Wonder why. That one works. All right. We gotta do this.
Hey now, y'all! Can we just get real? Do we really care about our fans, or is this just another deal? Said another way, that we lost our way? Social's about the people, remember? We are people. Do we really need another like, fan, or share? Do we need another post to show up everywhere? I hope as we scatter that we never forget that our posts live forever, even when we go to bed.
So connect.
Okay, then.
I forgot I still had that recording. I only played half of it, man. I'm not gonna play the full minute. It's 1 minute long. It's that Let's Get Social song. Let's get social. It's just funny to listen to.
I do like that song. It is entertaining.
From time to time, gotta lighten the mood once in a while. Do something.
Of course.
I have nothing for entertainment here in the pre-stream today. Knock on wood real fast. The sound set up really well today. It's all good.
Well, here's hoping it sticks this time.
Well, it's been sticking for the most part.
That's true. That's true. The AI has been kind to us lately. Hopefully their benevolence continues.
Yes, well, we'll see what happens. They're there now, huh? They're not the they, them?
I don't
know. And,
all right, we are both well heard.
And you got cut off.
I did?
Yeah, right in the middle of something there. You got cut off. We made snarky comments about the AI and they decided to cut you off.
Oh, yeah. Blame it on both of us when it was all just you.
No, it wasn't me. I'm innocent.
Uh-huh.
See?
Yeah, about as innocent as the fox in the chicken coop.
Oh, he could be innocently in there just grooming the chickens up. He just wants to, straighten their feathers a little bit.
Chickens are so weird.
No, that they are. Are they behaving themselves now?
Yeah, it turns out that the broody chicken is actually the most fond of Ivy.
Oh, so we send Ivy out to fetch the eggs then?
Yes, we send Ivy out because although Stripe doesn't hiss at me, which it still weirds me out that chickens can hiss.
Yeah, she hissed.
She doesn't hiss at me, but she puffs up and makes her whiny noise at me. Whereas when Ivy goes out there, she calms down, stops puffing.
Oh.
So we have to send that kid out there. She gets to collect the eggs.
She gets to go steal the eggs from her.
Yep.
Say, sorry, broody chicken, we're not giving you eggs because if we give you eggs, the babies will die.
They unfortunately will. It's the problem with having the heat wave at this time of year is the chickens want to have babies because they think, oh, it's warm out. It must be the right time.
Yeah, well, wrong time.
Yeah, and this chicken is just stubborn, man. Like, we've tried every trick we could find to get her to stop being broody.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. She's so stubborn.
She can sit there for 28 days, and when nothing hatches, she'll get up and walk away.
See, that's what we thought would happen,
Oh,
but
we didn't have her sit for 28 days last time. After
that's true.
After 7 days, we decided to get her some eggs, and so once she got eggs, she sat there for the next 28 days till they hatched.
That's true.
This time around, we keep stealing the eggs from her. Eventually, she'll go, no, not in here, and she'll get up and walk away.
We hope. I don't know. She's pretty freaking stubborn.
Temperatures will cool off in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that will help a lot when the temperatures actually start cooling off. Like, I noticed that it started dropping in temperature now.
Yeah, overnight.
So
it's dropping.
Yeah.
So on the whole, crazy chickens.
Chickens are so weird.
Crazy chickens. We should start seeing eggs from new babies in about 3 weeks too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's really interesting watching as like that one baby that we named it Cookie.
Yes.
So that one named Cookie is so big. I swear she's like doubled in size over the past week.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's even getting up in the face of the leader.
Yes, well, as I said, she's gonna challenge for top chicken.
Oh yeah, she's probably gonna win.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet she wins. It'll serve Grendel right.
Yeah, Gwendol has totally gone power crazy, man.
She was being a bit of a bitch the last 3 weeks. During the heat wave, man, she was just snarking at everybody. She didn't.
Oh yeah.
Very well. It was weird.
She does not do well in the heat.
She got definite attitude.
Yep. If anyone got too close to her, she would like dive bomb them.
Yeah, she stopped doing that the last couple of days.
Yeah, now that it's actually cooled down, we're out of the 30s, she's back to just being her normal cranky self.
Yeah.
But she's not blocking everyone from water and food and shade and everything else, so.
Yes. Chasing them away. Like, that's my spot. That's my crumb on the ground. You dug up something. That belongs to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it never occurred to me that chickens would have mood swings based on temperature.
Yeah, I never thought about it either, but I suppose why not? It's built in.
Everything else has issues with heat and cold, so.
Why not chickens too?
Yeah.
Little velociraptors.
They are little velociraptors. We need to get them those little arms that you like tuck under their wings so that they can walk around with little velociraptor claws.
Yeah. They're available online.
We should get them.
You got to find somebody to capture the chicken, so you can put them on and let them run around with little arms.
Send the kids in there. It's entertainment.
Here, go put these arms on the chickens.
We got to video that. If we actually manage to do that, we got to record it.
I can't remember where you order them from. I saw them one time. They showed up in something I was doing. It's like, I was reading about chickens, and there was an ad for these little velociraptor arms. I thought, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun for the chickens to do that.
Huh. I wonder if they would actually figure out how to use them to their benefit, or if they just get stuck.
They'd probably just get stuck on things. That's all they'd probably do. You'd have to go pull off their little velociraptor arms after a little while. You couldn't leave them on them permanently.
No, definitely not. But, the removal of the velociraptor arms would be just as entertaining as putting them on.
Because you got to capture chicken skin.
Exactly.
And now they got arms to fight with. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? That's really it, man. We just kind of filled up the space with chickens.
And velociraptor chickens.
And velociraptor chickens. Let me see something here. Just for fun. Here we go.
Are you playing something that I can't hear?
No, I'm putting it up on screen for people to see a picture of the backyard chicken arms.
Ah, cool.
It does make them look like little velociraptors.
Right. Yeah, those are so cool.
All right, enough of that fun. It's time for a little music to carry us to showtime. Let's do this.
All right.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill.
Sure is.
Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 608, and we have plugins for disabling XML-RPC-API. Blah, blah, lorem ipsum. Wow, you just had to make that a wind-up tongue twister mess, didn't you? And WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And we got another wonderful. You started this with that tongue twister at the beginning. That's what I get for not reading it beforehand. I should never cold read it. I always cold read though. That's why. All right. Anyway, it's another great show. We've got lots of great shows lined up for you. The only one we're going to be skipping in the near future is Labor Day long weekend. We won't be here for that, but gotta take some time off for Labor Day after laboring all summer long. Enjoy life. Have a barbecue. Use some stuff out there on my new smoker I've got. Make some better ribs. Other than that, I really don't have all that much to babble on about here. So
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Yeah, I should probably try actually reading these things out loud.
mm-hmm.
I never think to do that. I just write them. It's easy enough to read.
It's easy enough
in
to
your
read
head.
in your head because your tongue's not twisting over the words.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember to read them out loud to myself in the future.
I'm willing to bet you're going to see how many more you can sneak in there in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah. No. Maybe.
Welcome to episode 608, Rewiring the Brain for WordPress Plugins. We've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you, some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general, and some awesome WordPress tips. Now, I don't know how it is around where people are listening from, but here we've got some pretty smoky skies, some dry air going on. BC, it burns every summer. And something that my lovely teenager figured out for me is don't look directly at the sun. It may be covered in smoke, but it can still hurt your eyes. So don't do that. But you can take a picture of it with your phone, and that won't hurt your eyes. Odd enough.
Or you can stare at it like I did for 5 or 10 minutes when it was rising up and through the smoke.
Yeah, well, that's where the smoke was thickest. Mm-hmm. So, although yesterday I went to glance at the sun through all the smoke, not smoky enough.
No.
Definitely hurt my own eyes doing that. Mm-hmm. So, a couple of reminders before we start the show today. Remember that the show starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time with a pre-stream starting about 12:15 Pacific time. Pre-stream is where we twiddle with the dials and knobs and really just warm up our voices. Sometimes we have really entertaining commentary, like today with the chicken raptors.
Yes.
Other times it's a little quiet and sleepy, but you never know what you're going to get in the pre-stream. Our show notes for each episode can be found at WP-Plugins A-Z.com. The newest show notes will be up within 24 hours and on a front page. And don't forget that this is a value for value show and that you are a big part of its creation. You, all of our listeners, are our producers. And we need your help to produce. So get on out there, hit some like buttons, share an episode or two, and just to let people know in general that you helped to produce the longest running WordPress Plugins podcast. Well, that's it for reminders. Don't forget to stick around for the end of the show. Might find some helpful advice.
We don't have a sound for artwork.
We don't.
No.
What would you have as a sound for artwork, I wonder?
I have
something artsy-fartsy?
Yeah, I really don't have. Yeah, here we go.
Amen. Fist bump.
There you go.
That works. So our artist today is Greg's Graphics. This is an older art piece, and honestly, looks about right. You know, you're totally supposed to have all those little bits sticking out and the glue globbed on there to hold everything together, right?
That's pretty much how websites are assembled.
Yep. So I do like this picture a lot. It can be, yeah, it's a great picture. Since we are still going through the art vaults, if anybody out there would be interested in providing some new artwork, that would be great. Go head over to our site, wppluginsa-z.com/artwork. Have a look through the art vault. See if maybe you get inspired. Send in some new stuff. That would be awesome. We can never have too much art, so if you got like 20 ideas, send them all in.
Yes,
be great.
Especially when we have a lull like we do right now in artists, and I'm not very artsy these days, so I haven't been creating any art. I mean, I created the art for the first like 400 episodes.
Yeah.
And my artistic talents aren't all that great.
Oh, Hemdian said something.
What's that?
Always read your writing out loud to yourself, even if you don't intend to perform it. All writers should practice this. Great way of spotting all manner of writing flaws, typos, etc.
Yes.
That is a good point.
It doesn't help me with run-on sentences, though.
No, no, it doesn't.
I'm still the king of run-on sentences. Nobody is better than me at run-on sentences. My editor at the newspaper in college hated me. She dreaded every time I turned in a story.
Oh, Hemdian also suggested artwork SFX, blot of wet paint splattering on canvas.
Yeah. No, we can always have the AI do the artwork for us. I mean, after all, AI, you can get AI generated art now.
Oh, you know, that would be really entertaining to have AI generated artwork for a whole month. Just see what happens.
We'll have it generated based on the titles we choose and see what it creates.
There we go. I mean, that's a great idea.
I've seen some of the interesting stuff. Somebody put asked for AI to generate a piece of artwork of a man with a big head eating a hamburger, and it ended up being a hamburger with a big head in it. It was something really other bizarre. It's like, yeah, I guess. Well, that's one way to interpret that sentence. All right. Well, enough of that. I guess we should just move along.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
All right. So the first thing we've got, as always, is a WordPress vulnerability report for July 27th, 2023. So there is some good news. The plugins that had some vulnerabilities, like essential add-ons for Elementor, have been patched.
Okay.
This vulnerability...
Hold on a second. Why is it July 27th when we're at the 20?
That is something I've been wondering. And what's interesting is that the plugins have been changing, but the date has not.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just curious because they used to have the date consistent with the same week we were doing it.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
The plugins keep changing, but the date isn't. And it says it was last updated on July 31st, but I haven't seen anything any newer. So
okay. Just wanted to make sure, this is not too old of information. So
yeah, it's interesting. Like, I've seen some changes happen. For instance, the essential add-ons for Elementor, it has recently been patched. Yeah. So my guess is that it got an issue over the last week, and now it's been patched because it wasn't in the list last week when we did this.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay. Apparently, you are way quieter than me.
Well, that's because I'm not talking into the microphone. How about if I turn over the microphone? I'm trying to fix my headphones. They're just acting really weird. I was hearing strange sounds and making sure it was just my headphones and not something else important.
Hang on a second.
Must be something semi-important. Not important. There we go. All bet. All right, let's continue on.
Hang on, mild kitchen issue. Be right back.
Okay. Okay, well, we're going to take a momentary break here live, and I'm going to have to make a cut for this for the edit that goes out later. And time code is that. Yep. We will have to cut that out, and I've got to entertain folks while the mild kitchen issue is taken care of. What have I got here? Okay, well, let's talk about the WordPress vulnerability report. Lots of plugins, random stuff. Oh, how about my latest spam text? Here's an entertaining one for you folks. They are recruiting adults in Canada, 25 plus preferred. They don't say why. Ooh, that could be a very entertaining recruiting bit. You think I'm still quiet, do you, Hemdian? All right, let's see. We'll see if I can fix my sound. How about it, Hemdian? Is it still quiet? I know there's a 30-second delay before you realize what I've been saying. And since I'm the only one talking right now, I need to be actually talking as we work through whatever's happening. Hopefully it's nothing significant. It's just a minor glitch in the system. Oh. Is it better or worse? All you did was say yes. And I forgot the question. Basically what happened to me, I was rambling on and I forgot how I phrased the question. So a yes is not really helpful.
Hey, sorry about that.
Something boiling over?
It was burnt toast and had to teach the kids how to open the windows and get the smoke out.
And unplug the toaster. Turn on the fan in the bathroom. It helps draw it out too.
Oh, turn on the fan in the bathroom.
The pan's no longer smoking.
I don't care.
Can't finish the breakfast.
Too bad. Deal with the smoke first.
You must deal with the smoke. Take everything off heat and set it to the side. How do you burn toast in that toaster?
I have no idea. It is the magic of teenagers.
Because I can barely get it to toast my bread. The toaster's kind of old.
Toaster is toast? Okay, so yeah, sorry about that, everyone. You know, life with teenagers.
Yeah, well, so long as they're getting it taken care of and they're just filling the house full of burnt toast smoke.
Yep. Just had to block us. It didn't go upstairs.
Still half Amber's volume. Well, I don't know how. I wish I had a way to. I can actually tone her volume down just a hair.
Okay, so whereabouts did you get to in the news?
I got no further on it because I got sidetracked with I caught the thing here. Hemdian was talking about me being quieter, and I realized, okay, well, I'll check and see. And so I was talking to him, and I was rambling. So I didn't go anywhere with the news. We went absolutely nowhere. And I'm going to have to edit this whole entire chunk out at the end, thereby making it longer for me to get out of here this afternoon. Because there's no way I can stick all of that into the download. People will get bored in the download. They want to hear this, they got to come back to the live version. All right. So, and that ends it there at, it was a grand total of 4 minutes and some change.
Yep, mark it down. Know where you have to fix it.
That's the joys of time codes. I know where to cut and chop. All right.
Okay.
Let's continue on. You've covered the vulnerability report. There's a lot of stuff to look at, folks. Go check it out, the vulnerability report. And you need to find out if any of your plugins are there, if you don't already know, and if they have or haven't been patched. All right. Next news item.
Next news item. This was actually sent in from a listener, and it is WordPress and AI, a case study. It's actually a very interesting article that the listener sent in. What it does is it goes through a case study where they took snapshots over several hours of iterative AI processing, showcasing an outstanding exemplification of how AI could possibly, maybe even drastically, enhance the scope and efficiency of your content creation, but you got to use it correctly. The case study comes from a project called hedge.com, I think, a website dedicated to providing open source stock analysis. Not only does this article really highlight the bonuses of using AI in WordPress, but by reading through this, you'll also get a really great understanding of how to use the AI to the best of its ability and get the most out of it. It really is a great article. I'm really grateful to our listener for sending it in to us.
Okay. Well, I'll have to read that one over. Could be interesting.
Yeah, it's really quite enlightening.
Hmm.
Next we have, should WordPress.org support threads auto closing after 6 months? So WordPress.org support forums are a pretty vital resource for users and developers alike. This is where we all go to skim and look for the answer of whatever problem we've come across. 3 weeks ago on MetaTrack, a ticket was open proposing that WordPress.org remove the auto closure from support forum threads and instead add a warning that the thread is old. They currently auto close 6 months after they are created. Not everyone who is a part of the conversation is all for the idea of taking away the auto close, as older threads do tend to attract spam and some bad advice. Although many people are all for this. Another suggestion that I read about was add a button that can load up everything that's older than 6 months.
Yeah.
So it is a conversation that is going on right now. If anybody is interested in adding in their 2 cents, you can find the link for MetaTrack through the show notes and down at the bottom of the article. I think there's one towards the top of the article too, but mostly the one down at the bottom of the article is the one I checked out.
Okay.
Next up, Group.one acquires Back WP Up, Add Minimize, and Search and Replace plugins.
Search and replace.
So Group.one is a European cloud hosting and digital marketing services provider, and they now run these well-used plugins. Their portfolio includes WP Rocket, Imagify, and Rank Math SEO. Hopefully these plugins are not going to change overly much. The Group.one representative, Simon Kraft, has not been able to comment on what features are being prioritized in the immediate roadmap, though he did mention a smooth transition being important. I always get a little nervous when well-used plugins exchange hands. So
yeah.
Hopefully not too much will change.
Well, search and replace is one I still currently use a lot.
Yeah, and Rank Math SEO is my preferred SEO.
Yeah, well, if they already own Rank Math, they've been treating that one fairly well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been doing well. So that's kind of a bonus that they already have something that they've got a standing in and treating it well and advancing and improving it. So maybe they'll do well with these additional plugins that they bought.
That's what I'm hoping. Like Rank Math SEO, I'm not sure if they created or if they grabbed it up, but either way, it hasn't changed much.
It's changed quite a bit since I started using it a couple years ago.
What I mean is it hasn't changed in its ability. It hasn't
it's gotten
turned
better.
into it's gotten better.
It's not turned to crap. It got better. Like a lot of these plugins bought by these big companies, these conglomerates, they take them and all they do is their bean counters get hold of it, and then they try to milk everybody for more money.
Exactly. So like that's what I mean by they haven't destroyed it. They've treated it well.
Yeah.
It's done nothing but get better. Hopefully that's what will happen with the other 3 plugins that they just snapped up.
Yeah, those ones don't seem like they're out to kill off a rival, because Back WP Up, Atomize, I don't know anything. Like Back WP Up was my go-to backup plugin for years until it started going downhill a bit, and I ended up going to different options for backing up.
Search and replace is really useful too.
I use it a lot when it comes time to chase down random URLs that are still hiding in the database.
Yeah, and if you use it wrong though, you can completely destroy a site.
Yeah.
I purposefully used it wrong on one of my sandboxes. The implosion that happened was beautiful.
Yeah, it could be catastrophic. You got to remember, you're messing with the database, and once you change the database, you can't unchange the database. You better have a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to know.
Next we have Crocoblock to host WordPress Web Agency AI Summit on September 28th to 30th, 2023. So Crocoblock is a Ukraine-based company with plugins on WordPress.org as well as commercial products. They are hosting a WordPress Web Agency AI Summit on September 28th to 30th and are moving to organize its first large virtual event that will be free to all attendees. This summit will cover practical use cases for AI in development, marketing, design, web agency management, and freelance services. It will include mixed formats, including case studies, workshops, and live panel discussions with question and answer. The times will go from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time for presentations in English. The schedule features 10 speakers with commercial experience. If you are interested, you can sign up for free on the Crockleblock website, or you can go to our show notes and follow the link to figure out where to sign up.
Okay.
I honestly think this is really cool.
Yeah.
And I have a random one for the end of the news here. Einstein, Newton, they could have been wrong about gravity, according to Gaia telescope data. So I just thought this was really cool. A new study based on observations from the European Space Agency's billion-pixel Gaia Space Telescope has revealed a gravitational anomaly that changes our fundamental understanding of the universe. The anomaly occurs when loosely orbiting stars, known as binaries, seem to move in ways that defy standard models of gravity established by Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton. The two stars under study are orbiting one another at accelerations of lower than 0.1 nanometers per second squared, deviating from Newton's universal law of gravitation and Einstein's general relativity. This discovery also puts into question the existence of dark matter, which is often used to explain such anomalies. So, if you don't fully understand everything I just said, that's cool, because if you go and check out this article, they explain everything, so you won't feel unsure of what the heck you just read. But it is a really cool article that goes in depth explaining all this stuff. I have a thing about space, in case anyone who's been listening hasn't figured that out. I think space is just a really cool place, but
Space is
definitely
very
worth
big.
checking out.
Said space is very big.
It is, and it has so many cool things in it.
It does.
And we do have another article that was sent in from a listener. It's 10 ways to open the command prompt in Windows 10. So it's a very useful one. It is the first one under our extras, and there's a bunch more information in our extras.
Absolutely. Go check it all out, folks.
Dragon waiting time.
Alrighty. We're off and running on the plugins. And one I've got for you this week here. First off is disable XML-RPC-API. This one here is very useful if you're running a website or you build a website that attracts a lot of attention that's not often the good attention. You know, the hackers decide that they don't like you very much or whatever reason it is, and they're constantly pinging you, dragging down your resources. The bots come wandering in, everything else. One of the ways they do this is they come in after your XML-RPC API. And most of the time, when you're running a WordPress website, you don't need those. Those were some very useful items back in the day, and they're still useful items for some other things, but most websites do not need them. So this is another added tool that can be tossed in along with, I'm trying to remember the other ones I've had to toss into this site to lower the amount of brute force attacks on it and the DOS attacks on it, because it was just being attacked for whatever strange reason. You know, what this plugin does for you is it goes in, it disables access to the XML-RPC file. It also will help you strengthen up your security by changing the file permission on the htaccess file to be read-only and no longer writable in case somebody manages to hack their way into that. Disable your pingback. It disables selected methods from the XML-RPC. It can remove pingback ping link from the header. This is another tool that's used by the bots. Disable trackbacks. You can even blacklist IPs or whitelist IPs to use the XML-RPC if you've got a specific reason for it. Options, there's other minor options in there to help speed up your site. Disable the JSON request, the JSON REST API. And another useful thing is to hide the WordPress version in it. It'll disable the built-in WordPress file editor, disable the WLW manifest, and a few other options. So this does quite a bit in the free version. They do have a premium version, which allows you to extend security on the site even further than what it has here. You know, On the whole, very useful plugin. Helps get rid of all of those irritating bots and other things for the most part. Not 100% perfect, but it's nothing in the security world seems to be 100% perfect anymore. They were pretty close once upon a time, but the arms race is in a constant state of flux, and every time you bring out one big nuclear missile, they bring out even bigger nuclear missiles for it. So they're constantly slapping them on the table and measuring them is basically what's going on. So at any rate, great plugin. You know, I can't give it a 5, but I do give it a 4 dragon rating because that's the free version's all I tried out. Go check it out. It's the Disable XML-RPC-API.
You know, just the name of your plugin is a tongue twister.
Yeah, well, it isn't if you read it nice and properly. And I was doing that until you added in all that other gobbledygook in there.
All I do is add the ing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Hemnian said disabling XML-RPC is another plugin, like simple SSL.
Yes, it is.
That's cool.
There's a lot of plugins that disable it because the XML-RPC, while it was very useful for a few years, especially back in the beginning when trackbacks and pingbacks used to bring you a lot of useful traffic to your website, well, the hackers figured out how to abuse it. So
makes sense.
Once they figured out how to abuse it, we no longer had good tools. That's why we don't have nice things, because somebody comes in and kicks sand on top of them.
Well, on to the WordPress tips.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So for the WordPress tips, we would love to hear from some of our listeners and producers out there. What did you figure out by breaking something? Or what did you need to learn in order to help someone else who broke something? Or what did you learn by doing something? You can send these tidbits into me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll get them up here. Making sites. So when you are building a site, whether it be for you or another, and you manage to figure out some bit of CSS or manage some amazing feat of ingenuity that makes something work that didn't seem possible before, be sure to make a note of it. And don't just save it in one file on one hard drive. If you have a cloud, Dropbox is a great one. Back it up there. And back it up on a secondary hard drive. And maybe even send it to your email, or maybe even a few emails. Put it in a few different places, because hard drives do fail, and clouds fail. And sometimes things just get lost in translation. Sometimes they were there for a second, then they're gone. Things happen. So you want to make sure that anything that can be useful for use down the road. I just got sidetracked. Hendian tip.
Yeah, I saw
Don't
that.
let people make toast when you're doing WordPress stuff.
Yes, I saw that. So it made me laugh.
No, not people. Teenagers.
Yes, teenagers aren't people yet.
No, not quite yet. They haven't quite figured out the peopling part. So if you make sure you have these backed up, these little tidbits backed up in various places, you will be able to go back and find them no matter what's happened to your current hard drive or the cloud or what have you. You will find it, and it will help you down the road.
Yeah, remember, the cloud is just somebody else's computer.
Yep. So, beginner's tips. Sometimes you will come across a client as a developer who simply does not appreciate the work that goes into what you have created for them. They will question absolutely everything you have done, demand to know exact details on what you completed, why you did it that way, and then argue that it doesn't seem like that much work, so they shouldn't have to pay. These are clients you want to fire.
Absolutely. Fire them.
Firing a client can be a harsh thing, especially if you're trying to gain a clientele that gives you enough to survive monetarily. But really, when you think about it, those clients who you wind up spending excess amounts of time with trying to defend your position and the work you have done, those clients aren't really giving you any true pay, since you are spending so much of your valuable time defending yourself and you're not even getting paid for it. Firing a client is a thing that can happen, and it is recommended when you, if you think about it. If you are spending more time explaining to this client the work you did and why they should be paying you for the work you did, then you're actually getting paid for the hours of work you completed. You're paying them. You may not be paying them money, but you are paying them your time, and your time is valuable. So by firing this client, you aren't actually losing any money. It may feel that way at first, but you're actually gaining money, because by removing that client who is taking up so much of your time, you are giving yourself more time to spend on the clients who actually appreciate your work and actually pay you for the hours that you are owed. You can spend more time on their sites, get paid more for them. Plus, you also remove that mental anguish of having to deal with this one client again.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to fire them. It's
Yeah.
not always the clients that get to do the firing. Sometimes it's the developers that need to do the firing.
Yep, I did that several years ago. Fired a bunch of clients and felt so much better. My work increased and my income went up. It took
Yep.
me a couple of years to figure that one out. I wish I'd learned it much sooner in my career.
So for my plugin, I
Okay.
have Lorem Ipsum by Webline. So ever since I realized that the awesome bacon and zombie version of Lorem Ipsum was falling by the wayside, I have been in search of something to replace my Lorem Ipsum. This one is not nearly as entertaining as the bacon or the zombies, but it is very useful. Once you have installed and activated it, you will find the dashboard for this plugin on left-hand menu under Lorem Ipsum. Here you will find a bunch of options. You can choose the number of paragraphs by putting in any number up to 20 and still have it work properly. I wasn't able to get past 20 for the paragraphs and still have it work properly, but you can play around with it, see what you think, and see what you find. Then you can choose whether the paragraph is short, medium long, or very long. After that, you get to choose if the text is plain, like the Notepad program on your computer, or if there are tags added. They have the following options for tags. They have bold, italic. You can add A tags, unordered lists, numbered lists, description lists. You can even add block quotes, which is really useful especially for particular sites like magazines and whatnot. Block quotes, sometimes it can be hard to figure out what the block quotes are going to look like once you add in all the different font changes and things. There are code snippets for code and pre-tags, and you can add headers 1 through 6. You can change it all to caps, or there's a prude version. I'm not really sure what the prude version does. It seems to just kind of make it shorter and remove the questions. So that's the only thing I really noticed a change in when I tried out prude version, but I find it entertaining that it's called prude version. I'm sure there's a reason why prude version is there, but I don't really know it.
Prude version.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's entertaining that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you have the option for a dynamic shortcode to throw into your post or pages. Or you can just copy and paste from the little preview text window on your right. That's something that I thought was really cool. They actually give you a preview of what the Lorem Ipsum will look like, depending on your choices.
That's useful.
Really useful. If you're using the shortcode, be sure to save the changes, or else the shortcode it will not work.
Oh.
And you don't get to have a list of different Lorem Ipsums. Essentially, if you want to change out the way the Lorem Ipsum works, you have to go back to this dashboard, change your selections, and save changes. You only get the one to work with at a time, but it's so varied. You can have it in so many different ways. It's very useful. If you're using a shortcode, though, every time you save changes, the shortcode is going to change.
Yeah.
When I was playing around with it, I found that if I just copy and pasted, it was more useful, because by copying and pasting with all the different options, it just stays there.
Yeah, stays there for you. It can be useful for building out your templates for a site.
Mm-hmm. Now, this plugin hasn't been updated for a bit. I'm hoping that it's not yet another Lorem Ipsum that will be abandoned on the side of the road. It's a pretty good one. I like the options it has, and it plays well with others. And it's working right now, so hopefully they'll remember it exists and update it soon. For the time being, the plugin is totally free and worth checking out if you need to use some Lorem Ipsum. I rate this at 5 dragons.
You didn't hear it?
Yes, I did. I was reading Hemdian. He said, it should be a partnership with the client. You need to understand their needs. I recently had a couple of clients that didn't question their WP expert and paid big bucks for his substandard work. To be fair, fault on both sides, I think. Now, see, that is a really good point to make.
Yeah.
But I was referring to the people who question everything and literally take up hours and hours, days of your time
Yeah.
arguing about why they shouldn't have to pay you.
Yes, they're the ones that question every bill you send them, and they want absolute re-justification for it, even though you explain to them why you're going to be charging them for the hours the time you're going to do for the work you're going to do.
Yeah.
And the ones that come back with multiple changes every time and expect them to not be charged extra. So
Yeah. So there is two ends of the scale, though. I do agree with you, Hamdian, that a client does need to be able to feel okay in asking questions like, why am I being charged for this? I don't understand what you did here. Give them an explanation.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's about as far as it needs to go, though. I mean, it is up to the developer to explain to their client things in a way that their client will understand.
Yes. Yes, that has to be done.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I guess we need to wander into.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
I like our little jingles. They're so much fun.
Yeah, some of them are professional, like that one. That was a
Yeah.
professional one. It was some of our listeners that created that and donated it to us. They went through the efforts of recording, editing, everything. So, some of them are professional. Some of them are, well, pieces that I created years ago.
So, one of the best ways that you can donate to the show is to earn yourself a producership credit. We have 3 levels of producers that help to keep the show's larder stocked to the bursting. We have our freelance producers, our backroom producers, and our war room producers. There are special perks for backroom and war room producers that you can learn about on our site, wppluginsa2z.com. All you need to do is go to the main menu on the left-hand side there and click Time, Treasure, or Talent Donations. And you can get all the details on those right there. You can also go and check out our show notes. We have a shorter description of the 3 levels of producerships that you can earn for yourself. You can also join in and be part of your own production and support the show at the same time. There's loads of ways, like getting yourself an interview. You can do that here on our show with John. You can leave a review for a plugin, or you can donate your own plugin or your own plugin license. I recommend that you give a couple of these things a go. Some of them are lots of fun, and they always help both you and us out. And today we do actually have a question. The question is from somebody at the Victoria WordPress events. So from Jag Singh. I went to a Victoria WordPress meetup 5 years ago. They recommended Enfold theme. What themes do you recommend these days? Jag, is Enfold still good?
Yeah, well, I'll take that one because that was probably 5 years ago. It would have been me running the WordPress events here. And at that time there, I did believe in Enfold. In fact, we're currently yanking that out of a site right now through a whole lot of misery.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great theme when it was built. And at that time there, everything was good. And the problem is the technology advanced, they didn't advance, and they had so much wrapped into it, we didn't realize what kind of problems it would create in the future. Nowadays, we don't really recommend a theme at all. It recommend the basic Elementor theme, the hello theme, which is literally almost nothing, and Elementor, and then go in and create your templates for Elementor. And makes for a way faster site. And if you need specific functionality, find the plugin that provides that specific functionality and add it separately from your theme. The problem I didn't realize at the time I recommended Enfold was that at that time there, I thought having plugins wrapped in themes was a good thing. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Years later, you come to realize, yeah, that's not so good when it comes time to yank that theme out and replace it with something else. Or the theme developers, while they try to keep it up to date, they still have problems with it. I mean, so you're best off to go with the most basic theme you can get and then add your functionality as it goes. Like you can use the basic, if you want to get into Gutenberg, you can use the basic WordPress theme and Gutenberg and build yourself a magnificent site if you can wrap your head around Gutenberg and how to build pages and custom blocks and reusable blocks and blah, 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 and blocks. If you can wrap your head around it, Gutenberg will build a site that looks as good as Elementor. Me, I couldn't wrap my head around Gutenberg, so I stuck with Elementor. And that's what we do now. We use the basic Hello theme and always create yourself or download the child theme. Never use the primary theme in case they make a major change in that theme, or you decide to do custom functions in the functions file. Once they update the theme, they'll overwrite your functions. So you want to keep your custom functions. You want to keep them in your own custom child theme. But other than that, there is no other recommendations. I look at all these themes. There's some of them out there that may still be of use, but you can pretty much, all the fancy themes out there, you can duplicate every one of those fancy themes with Elementor, and probably quicker than setting up those custom themes. Because the biggest thing about the custom beautiful themes out there, they show you these beautiful demo sites of all the content in place. That's not what you get when you install it.
No.
You get something that's missing everything. You got to figure out how to put it all in there. So you're basically going through the same thing anyway. You may as well learn a system that you can replicate easier and easier. And the nice thing about Elementor is if you build out a specific style of template, you can export that template from that Elementor site into another Elementor site you want to use that template on.
Yeah, that is really useful, especially if you manage to do something that, wow, I didn't know that was even possible. Export it.
Yeah,
very useful.
Export it out, save it, and put it in. You might even create there's people out there now that are selling templates for Elementor.
Yes.
They figured out how to do side menus and other things, and they're selling that code, which kudos to them for actually figuring out something, solving a problem, and making a few bucks on it. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, those are the things you can do, and I just recommend staying away from all major themes now and sticking solely with a base theme and a builder such as Elementor, Gutenberg, or what's the other one? Something Buddy. Not something.
BuddyPress?
Not BuddyPress. That's a plugin.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the builders. Anyway, there's like 3 builders out there: Gutenberg, Elementor, and one other one that are still good. Stay away from the WP Bakery one. That one there is still, and also in my opinion, stay away from the Divi one. Like Divi's it's got so much potential, but it sucks so many resources when you're using it.
It really does. It slows a lot of things down when you're working in the back end, and the front end takes longer to load up.
Yeah, it just, every time I've had to work with Divi, it's just been a nightmare and a half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great builder. I really like it. It's semi-intuitive, but it's something in their code has never worked for me. There's people, I know some developers that swear by Divi, but to each his own.
It's got to work for your brain.
It's got to work for your brain, and it's also got to work so that the end product is very fast and usable for your client.
Yeah.
And if your client's going to go in there and edit stuff, you got to make sure that it's something that they can work with, which is a problem sometimes with Elementor.
Yeah, it can be.
You know, but other than that, that's where it's at. Thanks, Jag. Appreciate you reaching back out again. Haven't heard from you in a while.
So we have a couple of miscellaneous announcements. Now, if any of our listeners or producers out there have an announcement like a meetup or that they'll be on stage at a WordCamp or something they'd like us to share, you can send it in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and I will get it into this section here. If anybody is interested in finding a WordPress meetup somewhere around the world, you can go to meetup.com/pro/WordPress. The next Victoria meetup they don't appear to have anything scheduled still, but keep checking back. I have the link for them right here in the show notes. There are 5 WordCamps planned for August around the world. They still have all 5 of them listed. So WordCamp Nairobi in Kenya, Community Summit 2023, WordCamp US, WordCamp Denmark, WordCamp Jinja. And if you're interested in looking up more WordCamps around the world, you can check that out at central.wordcamp.org. And we have a couple ways that everyone can reach out to us. We have our brick and mortar address, which you'll find here in the show notes. We also have our virtual addresses, which we have them all listed right here for you. Today's plugins we covered were?
I covered up the disable XML-RPC plugin, and I don't remember all the bits and pieces because there it is. Disable XML-RPC by Nitima. It protects against XML-RPC brute force attacks, protects against DOS and DDoS attacks, disables the XML-RPC and trackbacks pingbacks on your site. Go check it out. I gave it a 4-dragon rating.
Then I covered Lorem Ipsum by Webline and by Webline India. It's interesting. Their name is Lorem Ipsum by Webline. So I feel like I'm just saying them twice. By Webline India. Easy creation of Lorem Ipsum for your site. You can use a short code or copy and paste to get into your site. And there are multiple options. Makes your development job much easier. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Alrighty.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
So if anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, you can send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca. We'll see if we can stump my dad. Haven't managed yet, but I got hopes for the future. First question. Say you are interested in making a site for your small business. How do you know whether you should go and build it yourself through a place like WordPress.org or Wix or something, or if you should head out and find a developer to do the work for you?
The simplest way to determine whether you're going to do it yourself is, one, do you have the time? And is it worth your time? Because time is the only resource that is not replaceable or renewable. And you're only allocated 84,000 seconds per day. I think it's 840,000 seconds per day. And so you got to figure out how to use those. So
you know how many seconds you have in a day?
Yeah, that's a geek thing. Because computers only run on seconds and something, not milliseconds. Yeah, milliseconds, seconds and milliseconds. So computers don't know minutes and hours. They only know seconds. So when you do enough stuff, and especially when you're setting up DNS records, because you have to set the time to live, you have to figure it out by seconds.
Okay.
So you just learn those things.
Okay.
At any rate, do you have enough time to do it? Because websites take time. And even on Wix or WordPress, you still got to put things in there. You got to determine what's going to go. How's it going to go? Is it going to save you money? Is it going to really save you money if your business is to do something else, taking away from what you have to do to make your money? Will this save you money? Would it actually save you money to pay somebody who knows how to do it, who would do it faster, more efficiently, and better? The other reasons for going to some other builder site like Wix or WordPress is there you don't have to worry much about maintenance and updates. They manage that sort of problems for you, manage maintenance, updates, and security of the site. But you also you're limited. All those sites, you're limited on what you can and cannot do. Even at the pro version of WordPress.com, there's limitations on what you can and cannot do unless you're a major corporation who can buy their time. So you have limitations. If you have someone build your own website, your own WordPress website, it can do pretty much anything you want it to do. There's almost nothing that can't be done with a custom-built WordPress website. The sky's the limit. So you got to determine what you're going to do. And the other thing you want to do, and this is something I've warned people about time and time again, and I can't remember the company that just they closed down. I don't think they went under, to just sort of closed down. They were bought out and closed down. Is you got to remember, if you go to a builder site, your data is in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
You don't control your data. If you have your own website built, at least you have control over your data. You should have your own backups and everything else. And exporting, I looked at extracting someone from Wix to a WordPress website. It was such a enormous job to extract everything because they don't give an export feature. And you have to go in and extract all of the text you want to get, all the pictures. You can't extract.
Individually?
Yeah, page by page.
Oh.
Yeah, page by page it has to be, and you have to rebuild it page by page. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's Wix, and there's several others. And of course, over the years, you have to remember there's been places, GeoCities is my favorite, something that was going to last forever is now completely gone from the internet. Where people had built, GeoCities was such a cool place to be. It was so many entertaining, fun web pages there with spinning, flashy stuff. But the thing is these companies, someone may, they run the company, someone may buy out that company and shut it down. The company may run into financial issues, whatever, and they get shut down. It's endless. At least if you've got it hosted somewhere and you've got your own backup, if the hosting company disappears on you suddenly, at least you got your backup you can take somewhere else. And if you've registered your own domain name somewhere, well, you can just repoint your domain name to whatever new server it's going to be on. So it's control of your data is the biggest reason why I suggest you always have it, either build it yourself on a proper hosting platform or have someone do it for you.
All right. My second question, say you have been building a site yourself. How do you know when it's time to throw in the towel and search up a developer to help you out?
When you're frustrated.
But you get frustrated all the time and then eventually you figure it out. So how do you know when you've reached your limit?
When it's taking up more time than your business that makes you money.
Ah, okay.
If your website is taking up 4 hours of your day and you're only using 8 hours of your day for working on your business, it means you're losing 4 hours of your productive time to just getting this website together. It's like when you're putting more time into this website than it's producing back for you is when you know it's time to bring in a developer. Or when you trip over something that is like, I don't know how to do this. And no matter how much research you do, you can't wrap your head around the explanations from all the geeks out there that have written about it.
Hamdian also says, you've reached your limit when you have no hair left.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. That might be it too. But yeah, that's basically it. When you've reached your limit, you toss in a towel and turn into a developer when you realize that. Another spot, this is where some people, they manage to build their website, get it going. It's making them some money. The rest of their business is now making money because the website's bringing it in. But they have to spend so much more time on their business. They can't put any time into their website. It's time to get a developer to manage that website to keep it up to date because obviously it makes you money. So now you can pay the developer.
Yeah, that saves you time from having to do everything yourself.
I've picked up a few clients that way over the years. They didn't want help in the beginning. They sort of figured it out, but then their business grew, and now they needed to focus more time on their business than their website. But their website was still bringing business in, and they couldn't keep up with the two, and so they hired me on to help manage and bring their website up to speed. And keep their website going properly so their website can continue to bring in the client base for them to help their business continue making money. So it's basically like anything else. Like if you start a business, initially you do your own bookkeeping, but eventually you have to hire out that bookkeeping because it costs more of your time to do that bookkeeping than it's worth.
Makes sense.
It's the same thing in any aspect of your business. In the beginning, you'll do everything. You'll wear all the hats, but as it grows, you start giving those hats or hiring those hats out to other people with the specialized skills. Because now you can actually pay them.
Hamdian also mentioned, or compute your cost, rate times time, versus a developer's cost for the same work. Go with the cheaper option.
Yes, there's that one too. That's the pure mathematical version of it. But yeah, that works too.
All right, I've got 2 more questions for after the closing credits.
All right, and for those listening on the downloads, there will be a gap somewhere in the middle of this where we'll suddenly have a jump from emergency to the rest of the show, and we'll edit it up. It'll be entertaining. If you want to hear all that good stuff, you're going to have to come back to the YouTubes and find it somewhere around the 25-minute mark on YouTube. All right, let our girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaz.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
My immortalized 16-year-old.
Yep. Well, how old was he there? 2?
He was about 3. No,
Oh, 3.
he's
Okay.
about 3. He was about 3 because I started this the same year that the youngest was born, so it's been 14 years.
The immortalized giggles.
Yeah, it's like every time I hear it, it makes me smile.
All right, so next question is, what would you look for when searching for a developer to build your site for you?
What do you mean? I don't understand the
Well, like,
question.
okay, say you decided that you don't want to build the site yourself. You don't have the skills, you don't have the time. So you go searching for a developer. Now, what is it that a person needs to look for when they're looking for a developer? Like, is there particular aspects, particular capabilities? Like, what do they search for in order to find a good developer to build their site for them?
That's a tough question to figure out an exact answer to because it's so varied. You know, the first thing they need to do is know what they want their website to do.
Okay.
You know, once they sort of have an idea on what they want it to do, then they can go look to see if there's developers that are advertising that skill set. You know, the best thing they can do is, you know, ask their friends who already have websites and they've had a developer build it. You know, because that'll get them some referrals to somebody who's already proven some competency.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Hemnian actually made a good point here. When hiring someone else, hidden cost is your time, hire, and oversee. Hidden benefits, what you might learn looking over someone's shoulder.
Yeah.
So is that maybe something to keep in mind when you're searching for a developer to build your site, is whether or not you'll be able to see them, what they're doing as they go? Or
Yeah, well, you could do that. I've had my experience over time of people that have hired me, and initially they wanted to do, well, we sort of had video chat software, screen sharing back in the day I started this, and they wanted to watch me work for a while to see if I knew what I was doing. And
that's kind of cool.
I said, sure, why not? You know, worst case scenario, you don't continue to keep me hired. And I ended up being hired because I was like, yeah, sure, I'll share my screen and show you everything I'm doing. I can't remember what program I used back then for that, but
Skype?
Probably Skype or something similar. So, but at any rate. Oh.
Sorry. In addition to tech skills, do they have client empathy or are they tech arrogant? That is definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Took me a while to get over my tech arrogance.
Yeah, tech arrogancy it's a real killer for deals.
Well, the problem is that the tech is actually worthy of that arrogance. But you can't do that to people. They don't like it. They don't like it very much for some strange reason.
Oh, it makes them feel dumb.
Never really understood that. Well, it's not my fault they're dumb.
They're not dumb. They just they specialize in something totally different.
Yes. So they should be more arrogant about their stuff. How's that?
Oh, they probably are.
So yeah, that's a good point. But no, figuring out if they're hiring someone cold, their best way of finding is knowing what they want built, and then finding a developer sort of advertising those skills and has a portfolio online that they can go pop through their portfolio of what these people have built to see if they've built sites similar to what they want to build. That's the simplest way. I mean, my portfolio online is so out of date now, but I used to keep a current portfolio of all the websites I'd been building, customizing for people, etc., and kept it up to date for a very long time. Last few years, not so good. Usually what happens now is you talk to them, and they go, well, can you send me some websites of what you built? And I've got a list of all the websites built in the last 3 years and send that to them. They say, this is current stuff of what's been built.
That's another thing that you can do too, is just put up a note on your site saying, if you are interested in looking through my portfolio, reach out to me.
Yep.
And then that will also get them to already start talking to you, and you can create that beginning of relationship.
Yep, that would work. So right about here.
Yeah,
well, so long.
So it didn't go upstairs. What just
that
happened?
Ends it there.
Casing an outstanding exemplification of how AI of taking away the auto close, as older threads do tend to.
Oh, I can't find it. There it is. I found it. Go ahead. Next question. I'm editing live here too at the same time.
Okay.
That's why everyone's hearing all the random stuff in the background. It's like I'm editing the file that's got to be published, and so I can get out of here as quickly as I can at the end, because I got to get to my chiropractor.
Okay. Last question. What do you look for when searching through places like WordPress.org and Wix to know which one will be the right one for you if you decide to go it on your own without the aid of a developer?
Well, they're pretty much the same thing. So it really makes no difference which one you look at. The thing is you go looking at the limit. You have limitations. Wix and WordPress.org, they have limitations on the plugins you can install. They have limitations on the themes you choose, the look and feel of the site, the customizations you can make. They have limitations on all of that. Wix has even more limitations than WordPress.org. Wix is mostly people make e-commerce stores, and it does make a really nice, simple e-commerce store. And they also have integration for PayPal and everything else, so you don't have to headache with that.
Okay.
So basically, you just choose one, and you go look at one, make an account on one, see how it works with your brain. Go make an account on the other, see how it works with your brain. If one works better with your brain than the other, choose the one that works with your brain. Just remember, WordPress.org. When a time comes to escape WordPress.org and run into your own WordPress website, easy exit, very easy exit. Everything exports out, except the
nice
plugins and stuff. You export all the files out in XML. It can insert all that data into your new site. Wix, not so much.
Yeah.
And there's several others out there. Squarespace. I'm trying to think of all the others. There's a whole bunch of these things, and there's even a brand new one out there now, which doesn't even create them as HTML files. It creates them as some other magical thing. I'm not even certain how it produces it yet, which is absolutely not compatible with anything on the internet. I had a client of ours reached out to me and said, yeah, we're kind of interested in this. Will it work with this? And I said, I don't know, I'll look. And I said, no, you're kind of out of luck. This is a newer company. They're not even sure what they're doing. They're promising to do all this great stuff. You don't even know if they'll be around in 6 months. So depends on how much money they have to burn through as to whether they'll get going.
So test things out, check things out, do a lot of reading, do a lot of research, and do a lot of math to figure out if it's worth your time.
That's pretty much it.
All right.
I think we'll call it at that, because I do have to escape really quick.
Yep.
And we'll have a little bit of music. Carry us on out of here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and now watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we got now. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no, obviously we just lost the satellite feed.